Yeah, baby. What's going on, y'all? Can you see the cutting board? Everything is good? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Stay a while. We got some stuff to talk about today, y'all.
That cornbread in that towel.
Okay, what? You know what, Stephen King? Mm. 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 Is my head cut off?
A little bit.
How about now?
It's good.
All right, y'all. Today we are talking about sauces. So everything you want to know about sauces, we're going to talk about it today. I hope you're ready. Take some notes. Get your pad and pen ready. Today is one of my favorite classes. And it's my favorite class because there's always so many ways to do things. And I think that with this, what I love are the different derivatives of our major sauces, right? Let me get my burner. Now, because I'm making a ton of sauces, I'm not making large volumes, right? I'm not making a gallon of sauce for each thing. So, as I'm making these, they're going to be very small batches of sauces. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Make sure you share the live, you like the live, do all them good things. Push all my buttons, baby. Uh-oh. Last one. No. Negative, son. This flour?
Yeah.
That's damn powdered sugar.
It's like flour from over here.
Oh.
Oh my God.
All right, so today we are going over sauces. Thank you very much for coming in. If you have any questions or anything else like that, please make sure you post them in the chat. Like it up, like it up, like it up. Share it out. Let's get some people in here. And we are going to talk about sauces. Give me like 2 minutes, to get everything together. Everything is already together. I'm here. That's all you really need, baby. I'm just saying. So, sauces are the big thing for today. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I appreciate you. Alexis, what's going on, baby? How are things going with you? Why is it's not moving? It's not moving. No, I don't want it to do that. Here we go.
We got Judy.
Hey, Judy. Otis? What's going on? Where's everybody from? Let's get a little interactive today, people. Let's talk. Tell me what kind of questions you have, what kind of things you want to know. Like I say, the live today is all about sauces and everything else like that. So if you have any questions, ask myself, ask my moderator T-Bear, and she will relay the message to me. Or just...
Little Buddha say, if it isn't the man himself.
It is.
Cousin Lisa.
Cousin Lisa? What's going on, Cousin Lisa? You know, I think it's very sad that this is the only way I could actually, you could actually see me. I do exist. All I do is hear your voice all the time. I didn't think you were a real person, but it's okay.
Emla 20 is from Wyoming.
Wyoming in the building. What's going on, people? Well, today is, like I say, this is my favorite class. When I taught in culinary school, I love sauces only because sauces are the base for everything, right? Sauces are the base for everything. Please don't mind my measurements just now. They will not be exact. I've done this so many times that I kind of know, but make sure you do your measurements the right way. We're going to first talk about sauces and the different types of sauces that are out there. It's very important to know. What I'd like you to do is write down the following thing. All right? I'll wait. Or you can memorize it. Beth V. That's B-E-T-H-V. Once again, Beth V. So, what is Beth V and why is it important and why am I talking about some person named Beth V and we're talking about sauces? Well, Beth V is the name or the first abbreviation or the first letter for each one of what we call 5 mother sauces. Now, these 5 mother sauces are the base or foundation for all sauces, right? So, if we talk about the first letter, which is B, right? Does anybody know what the B stands for? Bechamel is the first one. Bechamel. So a bechamel, and I'm going to make this as I'm talking to show you. Let me go grab a pen. And like I say, I'm not making giant batches. So you would adjust this based on what you were doing. A bechamel is the simplest sauce to make. And a bechamel is a white roux with milk. That's it, right? A white roux with milk, salt, pepper. You want to season it and make it taste good, but that is the first one. A bechamel in the first letter in our sauces for Beth V is a bechamel. That is the base foundation for many, many sauces. Guess what the base foundation for bechamel is? Or what one of the derivatives are for bechamel? Cheese sauce. A Mornay sauce is a cheese sauce, right? And with a traditional Mornay sauce, that is going to be your white roux, your milk, and Gruyere and Parmesan cheese. Now, what does that tell you? This is the same sauce that you use when you're making a cheese sauce. I had a question earlier from someone that said they're having problems making a cheese sauce. So we'll talk about that in a second. What I'm going to do is take 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to put that in the pan. And I am going to let my butter foam. Okay? My 2 tablespoons of butter are going to be my foundation for my bechamel sauce. Okay? I get my butter in there. I let it foam. And as my butter starts to foam, 2 things happen. 1, the fats break down and water is released, or liquid, right? And then we have our fat, which is on the top of my butter, right? So that's what it looks like. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of my flour. Yes, that was actually 2 tablespoons. Fight me. And I'm going to whisk that in. That just gets whisked into my butter. And you're going to see that it tightens up at first. But as the butter mixes with the flour, it starts to transform. Right? And now look at that flour. It's liquidy. Right? Now what you want to do with your bechamel is you're normally going to cook your bechamel. First thing is you want to cook out the flour flavor. Right? Well, how do I know when the flour flavor is gone, chef? You taste it. It's the only way you're going to know. The second thing is, since this is going to be a white sauce, we don't want to add a lot of color to the roux. We don't want to add a lot of color to the roux. Right? So this is what we call a blonde roux. Yes, a natural blonde roux. Okay? And like I say, I'm not going crazy making a whole lot. So I'm going to give myself maybe 4 tablespoons of milk. I'm going to whisk this in.
It smells good, by the way.
Is someone saying that?
No, I see.
You don't want it. You don't be quiet. So we have a nice blonde roux. I was like, how the hell can somebody smell that?
Somebody say whisk specifically.
Whisk what?
Specifically.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not going to whisk or they can do it with a fork or...
Oh, no. You don't have to use a whisk. You could use a fork. You could use a spoon. Whatever's going to keep it moving in the pan. I just use a whisk because I'm used to it. Then what you're going to see happen now is I'm going to add my milk in. And I'm going to whisk that together. Now, here's the deal. When we talk about any type of sauce, You saw how I put this in and it was very liquidy. What you're going to notice, bang, look at that. As soon as it thickens up, it's because it came to a boil. So whether you're using cornstarch, arrowroot, flour,
Can you use oil and not butter?
you can use oil. However, oil, you would need to add more flour because there's nothing really for it to bind to. Now, here's the deal. Look at this. You see that? Clearly, that's too damn thick, right? So this is where you kind of adjust. Add a little more milk. You want to add a little more milk in there just to loosen it up a little. And when you add more milk, what's going to happen is, guess what? It's going to clump up again. Now, if I would have had exact measurements, I wouldn't have had to add anything else. But there you go, baby. All I had to do was just add another tablespoon of milk. And now, look at my sauce. Look at that. Nice, beautiful. Now, since we are doing sauce classes, I'm going to tell you some sauce words that you're going to know or need to know. Okay? So as you're making your sauce, and look at that. This sauce is absolutely beautiful. Nice. If you want it looser, you can make it looser. Whatever you want. But let's talk about a culinary term that you need to know, especially when making sauces.
Are you using whole milk?
I am using whole milk. I'm probably going to have the bubble guts later, but I am using whole milk. But I'm not going to eat this. There's too much sauce today. I am using whole milk for the 5th time. So, yes, I am using whole milk for this. You could use cream if you wanted to. You could use chicken stock. You could use beef stock. You can use vegetable stock. Anything you want. Just as long as that liquid that you have in there comes to that boil, you'll be fine. Now, let me show you something. When you make sauces, okay, wait, before I dip it. See my spoon? When I dip my spoon in, you see how it coats the back of the spoon and doesn't run off? That is called, anybody? Napan, okay? You learned the term today.
Because Alicia tell you trying to send her to the restaurant.
No. No. That is called napan, right? When it coats the back of the spoon. Now, here's one last test to make sure that your sauce is really right. You take your finger and you run it through the sauce. Oh, you know, I should do this for a living. That is your sauce perfectly done. It doesn't run together. It doesn't drip off of the spoon. And there it is. Now, clearly, I didn't add any seasoning to this. So right now, it's going to taste like butter, milk, and flour. That's all it's going to taste like. Let me grab a plate.
Somebody said what happened with the crying eyes. I don't know if they thought something went wrong with the sauce or...
What happened with the what happened?
Candy Lee.
No, this sauce is perfect, baby. Don't be crying. Don't cry for my sauce, Argentina.
Oh my God.
This sauce is perfect. Look at that. Can you see that? Can you see that? You see how that sauce came out? Look at that. Bang. Now that's saucy, baby. Now, keep in mind, and that was a good question, except I feel like you were kind of questioning my abilities to cook. However, you have to realize that this is what we call a base. The water's going to run for a second. Hold on.
Oh, she said it wasn't the sauce.
Oh. So this is my first sauce, my bechamel. Right? Now, here's the deal. If I have this bechamel, right? if I have this. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm not even going to explain it. I'm going to actually show it and do it. Give me 1 second. We have cheese. We have cheese. All right, so I was gonna explain, but I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna make a cheese sauce, the first derivative of our sauces, right? So what I'm about to make is called a derivative, and that derivative is the actual sauce with something added to it. Okay, so our derivative for our bechamel is a Mornay sauce. But instead of making a Mornay sauce with Parmesan and Gruyere, I'm going to make a cheese sauce like we were making macaroni and cheese. Here we go. Make sure you're liking the live, like the live, share it out, please, and thank you. I love you all.
They said that your live had paused for a minute, but it didn't pause for a minute.
What happened?
Some people said that your live had paused for a minute.
Oh, it did? I'm doing that AI cooking. No. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to make a cheese sauce. Now, here's the beauty of making base sauces. What you can do with base sauces is you can take this, put it in a bag, and freeze it. Now, whenever you want to make a bechamel, even though you saw it was super simple and didn't take a long time, you could actually go and take it frozen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this back to my pan. Now this looks nasty, y'all. I wanted to show the two side by side. See, I'm using a spoon. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some cheese and I'm going to put that in there. Oh yeah, baby. Got a little more cheese? No. You never have too much cheese. And there you go. I'm going to add in just a little bit more milk. Loosen it up.
I said now add some macaroni and send it to me.
Right? Hey, if I make some macaroni, it's not leaving the house. I'm going to eat it all. Right? So now look. We got a nice, sexy. Oh yeah, baby. Super simple. So from our bechamel, we now have, don't waste my cheese, we now have a nice cheese sauce. Now, only if I had something to put this on. Oh, look at that, y'all. Come on. How long did that take? This is real time. 10 minutes. We got a cheese sauce. Now, like you said, if you take your macaroni, you cook your macaroni off, you put it in here, perfectly done. Delicious every time. And look at that. just because I might actually eat this, I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And there you have it. Look at this. Look at this. You ready? Ooh. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Now you have a cheese sauce. And the cheese sauce comes from the bechamel.
Somebody say this different milk time. Or whatever cheese you like.
Okay, very good question. And this is the whole thing. And I was going to say this earlier, but...
Somebody want to know if they use
Velveeta? Oh, yeah.
You teaching at Culinary School in Las Vegas?
I did teach at a culinary school in Las Vegas, Le Cordon Bleu. Yes. Taught there for many, many years. So there go my two sauces. My cheese sauce, which came out absolutely delicious, and my bechamel. All right, so let's talk cheese sauce 101. A few things you have to be aware of. Damn, that cheese sauce is
Somebody
really
say, please, they crying and
good. A few things you have to be aware of when you are making your cheese sauce.
Somebody want to know about Velveeta, they can get 3 question marks.
Oh, Velveeta. Yes, you can use Velveeta. Now, Velveeta is nice, creamy, rich, and delicious, right? We all love Velveeta. It's super simple, super easy to use. Right? You don't have to do anything to it. Just put it right in your macaroni and it's done. And you could also mix in the Velveeta with other types of cheese. So that would be fine. The other thing that I tell people all the time is that when you are making your cheese sauce, because someone had a question about cheese sauce because they were having a problem with it. I don't know what the problem was that they were having. However, what most people do is they use cheese that's already shredded, right? Bagged cheese, shredded cheese that is already shredded, that has a waxy, powdery substance on the outside. It's called an anti-caking agent. So that way, the pieces of cheese don't stick together. Just think about when you take a bag of cheese and you take it out of the bag, all of those pieces separate out, right? Because they're all coated with this powdery substance. Now, here's where the problem comes in. Because a lot of people then say, hey, my cheese sauce is grainy. Ah, I see you going, oh, damn. Yes, my cheese sauce is grainy. Why is my cheese sauce grainy? Your cheese sauce is grainy because that anti-caking agent doesn't want things to stick together. That's the whole purpose of the anti-caking agent. Things sticking together also mean that your cheese sauce is not going to come together and be emulsified the way you want it to be, right? So I recommend that you grate your own cheese. I know, but damn, Chef Jay, that's going to take a lot. I don't have time for that. I'm just trying to have dinner. However, here's the beauty of it. When you grate your own cheese, you'll find your cheese sauce is smoother. It comes together and has a better consistency and texture. Also, sometimes with your cheese that's already shredded, when you put it in the refrigerator and everything gets cold, now you have these little lumps in your macaroni and cheese. Lumps that you didn't put there. Lumps that were not there when it was hot. However, those lumps are the anti-caking agents coming together again. doing their job, stopping that coagulation part for your cheese. What happens with that is you have this always trying to stop everything from coming together that prevents your cheese from melting to be smooth and sexy, baby. Right? So you want to make sure that if you're going to have this, you want to make it, like I say, make it the best way you can, and then that way you don't have any problems. My plate is horrible. You get an F if you brought this up to me in class. F. Y'all know.
And please send me the recipe because I don't remember that.
Yeah, make sure you follow me. And if you follow me, just shoot me a message and let me know what the recipes you want. I've been posting recipes, just a picture with all of my recipes. Those are my recipes that are up there on how I make the items that I'm taking, that I post up for the pictures. So if you want a macaroni and cheese recipe, I'll probably post it in a picture, and then put the directions right underneath it, how to make it. As a matter of fact, I think I might have just done a macaroni and cheese video, but shoot me a message and I will definitely send you the recipe for the macaroni and cheese. I have no problem with that. So again,
somebody said you'll do as I say, not as I do kind of teaching.
I am. Don't ever do what I do. If Alexis is still here, you can ask him. Because I did some stuff in class and he was like, but you didn't tell us to do it that way, chef. So yeah, sometimes, and here's the other thing. When I did teach in Las Vegas, right, I taught at Le Cordon Bleu in Las Vegas, right? In Pahrump, I think it was, wherever the hell it was. It was up north. There were more than 6 other instructors, but during my shift, there were 6 other instructors that were really good chefs, right? So the book, the Wiley book that everybody gets when they're in culinary school, tells you, here's how you should cut a chicken. First, you're going to slice it this way and then this way, and then you're going to do it this way, and then you're going to make sure you get the jewel, the nugget of the chicken on the chicken thigh. So what I did, and I got in trouble, by the way, was I had all 6 of the chefs come into my classroom. I laid out 6 chickens, right? And I said, okay, chef, where's your chef's knife or your boning knife or whatever? I want you to cut up the chicken. Not everybody at once. Everybody cut up the chicken individually. Of those 6 chefs, only 2 of them cut it the same way. Now in class, we taught them this is how you cut it because we had to follow the course curriculum. But as far as them doing it, you're always going to pick up these things, these habits that are just better for you. And follow a recipe, like I tell people, is a guide. You're going to find out what works best for you. Sometimes, now, if I were to use mozzarella cheese in this cheese sauce, the sauce would have been a lot thicker because we know mozzarella is a more stretchy cheese as opposed to a cheddar or a Gouda or something of that nature. So you're always going to have to adjust. What do they always say? What's the difference between a cook and a chef? A cook needs to follow a recipe. A chef is just going to create from whatever you see. Hey, I got this bag of rocks and a cup of onions. Make me something, right? So a chef, you're always going to find that ability to adjust and everything else like that. So back to our sauces for a second. Bechamel. We have bechamel. We have a Mornay's, or we have a cheese sauce. Like I say, a Mornay's sauce would be that Gruyere cheese, because all of these are what we call foundational sauces, right? These are what we call our mother sauces. So these mother sauces are all French created sauces, and from those mother sauces, we have these derivatives of sauces. So bechamel, Mornay, right? Those are all sauces and their derivatives, okay? Now, the next sauce that we have, unless there's are there any questions or anything? No?
No more.
Okay. The next sauce, first off, we started with B, and that B was bechamel, right? The next letter is E. Anybody know what E is for? And if you don't, trust me, it's okay, because no one, I won't say no one, classical French restaurants and some restaurants in Spain actually still use this sauce because it's a very, very good sauce. It is called a Espagnole, okay? That is the sauce, a Spanish sauce, right? That Spanish sauce where we had a light roux with our bechamel, and Espagnole is going to be a totally different sauce. It's going to be a dark roux, almost like a chocolate roux, right? When you think about things like mole from Spain and Mexico, it's that color. It's super dark, super rich, right? And then it uses what's called a mirepoix, right? A mirepoix is celery, carrots, and onions. They're not in equal proportion, right? Because what do we know? Carrots are going to be sweeter than celery, which is not going to be as sweet as an onion, depending upon what type of onion we use. Now, what you will find is that your celery, carrots, and onions, that mirepoix, it's like 25, 35, 70 something, depending upon what it is, right? Your celery isn't going to really bring much to the party. Your flavor is really going to come from your onions, and your carrots are going to give it that sweetness. You are going to add those celery, carrots, and onions into your dark roux. Now, here's where it gets beautiful. This sauce is normally made with veal stock, okay? And a veal stock is absolutely delicious because as you make veal stock, the bones, you roast them first, right? And since we're talking about sauces, let me divert for a second. What is the difference between a broth and a stock? I'll tell you right now. A broth is when you roast the bones and vegetables first, right? So you roast your bones and vegetables, you put them into the oven, you put them into a pan, dry roasted, no oil, right? We're not cooking them, we're just roasting them, because roasting, and when we have our class on the cooking methods, you will find the difference. Let me stop right there. There's a difference between roasting and baking, right? Roasting is a high temperature for a short period of time. Baking is a consistent temperature for a long period of time, or however long you're going to bake something for. Now, what you do is you put your bones and your mirepoix into the oven when you're making a broth, and you roast it until it gets color. Once it gets color, you pull it out, you put it in your pot, and you add water to it, right? You add water to it. Hey, thanks a lot for coming in. Make sure y'all are double tapping that screen for me. Share it live, share it live, share it live. Let's get it out on the algorithm. I don't know why people say that. The shit ain't going out unless y'all interact. Anyway, so yes, tell people about it, everything else like that. I'm teaching here. I'm teaching. So roasted bones and roasted vegetables give you more flavor. So when you make this veal stock, you have these roasted bones. They're so delicious. Or beef stock, you have these roasted beef bones that's so delicious. You put them into your pot, and when you put them into your pot, you add your water on top, and then you just let that simmer for hours, right? In a restaurant, when we made beef broth, we would let it go literally 10, 12 hours, slow and low, right? And people that have went to culinary school, you know, you would put the stock pots on and go home, right? We would have the night class make the stocks and the broths, because they literally, by time we left class at night, when people came in the morning time, it was ready to go. It just had to be strained, cooled, stored properly. Remember the temperature danger zone, people. That was our first class. Don't make me give you an F. Anyway, so Espanol is our classical veal or beef broth mixed with a mirepoix and your dark roux. Now, let me explain something to you about roux, since we're talking about sauces. Whenever you make a roux, the darker the roux, the less thickening power it has. So what does that mean? Think about gumbo, right? What is the base of a gumbo? The Trinity and a dark roux, right? So you have the Trinity, which is bell pepper, onions, and celery. You have a dark roux, which means that when you saw how I had it, where it was blonde, right, for my roux, right, for this one, this was a blonde roux, okay, you're going to have a dark roux. It's literally going to take you like 20, 25 minutes to make this dark roux. First, it's going to go from that blonde, then it's going to go to this peanut buttery looking thing, a little darker than this one, okay? It's going to go to that peanut butter look, and then it's going to turn dark, super simple. One other thing just to track back, if you don't want to use butter, right, to make your roux, you can actually take flour, put it on a sheet pan, and pop it in your oven, right? You can take flour, put it on a sheet pan, pop it in your oven, and let your flour get toasty, right? It's not a traditional roux, but for people that are trying to avoid fats and everything else like that, you can do that. And then you could store it the same way. You take it out of the oven, and then you can put it in bags, vacuum seal it, and then you have this roux that will thicken up everything, but it'll also give it that nice flavor, right? And as it cooks in the oven, the flour flavor will go away. But back to our dark roux, the darker the roux gets, right? So when you're making your gumbo, what do we have to do to gumbo to make it thick? Because most of the time when you get gumbo, it's thin, it's liquidy, right? That's because you've cooked out all the thickening from the flour. You use gumbo filet, right? And that gumbo filet that's on the table of every single restaurant in New Orleans and all these other, New Orleans and all these other places, it is literally to thicken the gumbo, because that dark roux does not have as much thickening power as a blonde roux or peanut butter roux. The darker the roux, the more you cook out that thickening for your sauce. Now, I will tell you, an Espanol is thickened by the vegetables, okay? Because remember, I said we add a mirepoix into our Espanol, and that mirepoix that we're adding into our Espanol is to, once we're done with it, this is where the beauty of this sauce comes in. I'm so sad that people don't really make these sauces anymore because they're so good. The beauty of the Espanol is once it's done cooking and your vegetables are just soft and mushy, you're going to take out the bones. you are going to put it into a pot, right? Back into the same pot. And you are going to do what we use an immersion blender. And what is that going to do? Well, I'll tell you what it's going to do. One. My burner is ready to cook. What it's going to do is it is going to thicken that sauce, right? So now if you've ever had a real Espanol, it is so smooth and silky and delicious that most of the time, the last step after you burr, we call it a burr mixer, right? After you burr your sauce, what you do is right before you use it, get ready, y'all. Monte un beurre, right? Monte un beurre, which means to mount with butter. So what we do is right before we use that already thick and delicious sauce, we put it in a pan to heat it up, right? We put it in a pan, we heat it up, and then we throw in a few pats of butter and we whisk that in. Sorry, I had a moment. I didn't glitch out, I had a moment, right? That makes the sauce so delicious. Is that a question that came up? You're not even paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
There's a giant question on the screen.
And not on mine.
What's wrong with your screen?
You're not sending me nobody's question.
Oh, no questions.
Apologize.
You know what? My stage manager is horrible. I'm taking applications for a new stage manager. So, Monte un beurre with that Espanol, that kind of finishes it off. So that way when you pour it, it's just absolutely delicious, right? So, that is sauce number 2. Bechamel, white roux, milk, Espanol, dark roux. What does this thing just keep turning on by itself? Are you trying to say I'm fat? I didn't even touch this. You have to push the button. What the you are the worst. Where is the support? What was I saying? Oh, bechamel, white roux and milk, right? Salt, pepper, Mornay sauce, white roux, milk, salt, pepper, cheese, right? Cheese sauce, right? And then we have our macaroni. Espanol, right? Again, a roux, right? Mirepoix, beef stock, or veal stock, right? And what is veal? Veal is just a baby cow, right? So you can use beef stock or you can use veal stock. Really, you know, if you talk about things like a demi-glaze, which if you've never had it, you probably are missing like some of the most delicious stuff ever. Demi-glaze is a type of sauce that's been reduced to its almost like this super thick consistency. And that literally takes a day or two to make, right? If you make a demi from scratch, it takes a long time, veal bones, and it's really good. And then, so we have our Espanol, beef broth, veal broth, and then that brings us to the next one, right? Beth V. Bechamel, Espanol. Anybody want to guess what the next one is? Okay, thank you.
Nobody cares.
T, B-E-T, tomato.
Somebody say, cook me a turtle sauce.
A what?
A turtle, S-A-U-H-I.
Turtle soup?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Why don't people think I know how to make everything because I'm a chef? Google it, baby. So tomato is our next sauce, right? Beth V. B-E-T-H, right? Beth V. And Beth V tells us that tomato is the next sauce. And a tomato sauce, unlike the two sauces we had before, is not as complex. And the reason I say it's not as complex is because you have very varying options on how you make your tomato sauce, right? Now, if you're going to make a tomato sauce, that could literally just be stewed tomatoes, hence the word tomato sauce, right? If you want to make something like a marinara, right? What do we know about a marinara? It's thicker, right? Because now we have, could be meat in that marinara. It could be a mirepoix in that marinara, right? So these are all things, our celery, carrots, and onions, these are all things that go into our marinara that change it from being that tomato sauce. They're called derivatives, right? So this derivative, this marinara, has all of these other things. And then we have a pomodoro sauce, which is a smooth version of a marinara, right? A pomodoro sauce. And then what are some other derivatives of a tomato sauce? Another derivative of a tomato sauce is a vodka sauce. So if we had Penny, hey, thank you so much. What was that?
That was me.
I was like, hey, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I saw something flash on the screen. I love it. I don't think I have any live goals set, so I just appreciate. Huh?
You made it already.
Oh, I did. Oh, I met my live goal. Yeah, baby. What was I saying? Oh, tomato sauce, penny alla vodka, because that's what everybody knows, alla vodka sauce, right? Now, here's the deal. For those that don't know, there is really vodka in a vodka sauce, right? However, the differences between a vodka sauce that we buy in the store that has no vodka in it. If you look at a vodka sauce in the store, it's normally just a tomato sauce that's been fortified with cream, right? There's no vodka in it. Sometimes there's not even much flavor in it. It's just this washed out tomato sauce. But a penny alla vodka sauce actually has garlic and basil and onions, things of that nature, but it's fortified with cream and then finished with vodka, right? Now, if you don't like vodka, you don't have to use it. No one is able to tell the difference. It just gives it a different notes, especially depending upon the types of vodka that you use. I don't know whether you're allowed to show vodka on live. Will they ban me for showing vodka?
Don't show it.
I want to test it and see whether or not I get banned.
No.
Okay, never mind. I don't want to be banned TikTok. I'm sorry. I lied. Hold on. Okay. Oh, there's the screen. Okay, so, excuse me. So, a penny alla vodka sauce literally has vodka in it, y'all. Right? So if you're getting someone that's making a vodka sauce or you're making a vodka sauce, make sure that you add that vodka in at the very, very end. Right? Now, the one thing that you can always do with a vodka sauce is change it up and add other things to it, right? It just doesn't have to have penny. You know, you can shred up some fresh basil in it, some spinach, and those types of things, right? Now, the one thing that is important to understand about all of these sauces is that with that base sauce of that tomato sauce, you could make all of these other varying sauces, right? So there's nothing preventing you from going down this rabbit hole of how many different sauce. I think there are, Alexa, how many different variations are there of the 5 mother sauces?
From studyfinds.org. They offer 6 different hot sauce flavors, all bottled with their signature.
Oh my God, Alexa, cancel. She is. Does anybody have Alexa? Because if you want to adopt another one, you could have mine. She's horrible. Like the absolute worst. I asked her how many, there's like 13 different variations of all the different sauces that are out there. Thanks for liking the live, y'all. I really appreciate it. Make sure you're sharing it out, like the live, all of that good stuff. So with these things, you have all of these different sauce types. I'm going to pause for 1 second, and I'm going to ask a question that hopefully someone will think about. You don't have to type it in. I get it. Is mayonnaise a mother sauce? There's always music playing in my head. Alexa, Afro House Radio. Always music playing in my head.
FG Mix Afro House from Cheryl's Tuning.
Oh.
Welcome to Tuna.
The hell is that?
I don't know.
Whether it's manufacturing, running.
Alexa, stop. See, this is why I hate her. This is why she's horrible.
Oh my God.
Alexa, Gospel House.
I'm not quite sure how to help you.
Of course you're not sure how to help me.
What's wrong with her today?
Alexa, Gospel House music.
Playing gospel house music on Amazon Music.
She's absolutely horrible.
Somebody said, isn't the base a mother sauce?
Yes, 100%. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you're listening. The base is the mother. Uh-oh. TikTok wants me to use this puzzle piece again. Hold on, y'all. Because if I don't do this, then they think I'm fake. Oh, come on. There you go. So yes, the base sauce is the mother sauce. That bechamel, espagnole, tomato, hollandaise, velouté. Those are the base sauces. But we're talking about the derivatives of those base sauces. Mayonnaise is not a mother sauce. Can you turn it down just a little? Alexa, volume down. Mayonnaise is not a mother sauce. Mayonnaise is what... Did you turn it off? God, I need a new stage manager. It's too loud. Okay, go home.
I'm at home.
Mayonnaise is not a mother sauce. Mayonnaise is what we call a cold emulsification, right? Because we're taking egg yolks and oil and whisking them together until they come together, and that is mayonnaise. So
Somebody say mayo is a variation of hollandaise.
no, good guess. However, mayonnaise is not a variation of hollandaise because hollandaise is a hot sauce. Hollandaise is emulsification of butter and egg yolks, right? Butter and egg yolks make hollandaise sauce with cayenne pepper, lemon juice, salt, and pepper. And that is hot, right? Because we have to make a bain-marie and we have to heat it. Mayonnaise is a cold sauce. We never add heat to mayonnaise, right? And we add lemon juice in, we add into our egg yolks, and then we slowly whisk in our oil. That is a mayonnaise. Now, what is a derivative of mayonnaise? Anybody? Tartar sauce is a derivative of mayonnaise, right? And aioli is a derivative of mayonnaise. A garlic aioli is a derivative of mayonnaise. A remoulade is a derivative of mayonnaise. But these are what we call cold emulsifications, not sauces, right? Right? Because we wouldn't call mayonnaise a sauce, right? So if we look at the composition of what we're putting together, that cold emulsification is different than the hot version that we're doing, because an emulsification brings two unlike items together, kind of like a mediator of love in food. That's what an emulsifier does. So it takes those egg yolks and it takes that oil, which normally if you just poured egg yolks on top of oil, they would never come together. So what do we use to bind it? Mustard. Mustard brings all of that together for a nice emulsification, right? Egg yolks, oil, mustard. And you have mayonnaise all day, every day, y'all, right? If you like it sweet, like I like Miracle Whip, if you like it sweet, add a little bit of sugar to it, right? If you like it a little more tart, add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to it. If you like it spicy, add a little bit of Cholula to it. But these are all derivatives of that mayonnaise, right? Which is a cold emulsification. Think about it this way. If we didn't have an emulsifier, what would happen? Let's think about it. I'm sure if you go to your pantry right now, you have some Italian salad dressing in there. Everybody does. What happens to that Italian salad dressing once it sits for a second? It's together like this, and then all of a sudden, it separates out, right? You have your oil on the top and whatever else is on the bottom, right? Oil and vinegar. They separate out because they don't stay together unless there's that emulsifier. What keeps our sauces together is that emulsification of that roux. That's what makes our sauce come together nicely. Now, with a cold emulsification, that sauce separates out, right? It separates out. And now you make a raspberry vinaigrette. There's no eggs in it. There's no mustard in it. It's literally just oil and vinegar and raspberries. It separates out. And what do you have to do? You have to shake it up to make everything come back together, right? So I was saying this all to say that with a tomato sauce, there is not really an emulsifier, right? There's nothing that keeps that tomato sauce together, but at the same time, a tomato sauce is literally just going to be tomatoes, right? And if we have our heavy cream, right, and our vodka and our mirepoix, that's going to make everything come together once we mix it all together, right? A pomodoro sauce, a marinara. You don't want your you don't want your tomato sauce to be like gravy, right? You don't want smothered pasta where you have this thick goopy sauce on top of your gravy, right? I mean, on top of your noodles. So you would not use something that's going to bind it together, right? You want something that's just going to kind of pour over the top, right? And be that way. Now, a pomodoro sauce is also used when you're making lasagna, because when you blend it all together, it gives it some body and texture, so you can put that on the layers of your lasagna. I'm sure you've made lasagna before, and when you went to cut it, the layers just slid, separated out, right? So the cheese isn't always going to hold it all together. What you need is a sauce that's going to kind of bind everything together. That pomodoro sauce is what binds everything together. And as someone asked about the Velveeta earlier, yes, you can use things that are already made, but you're not getting the full effect of what it's supposed to do, right? If you go out and buy pomodoro sauce, it's been processed, probably blended to hell, and it's super liquidy. If you make pomodoro sauce at home, it's going to have some body, it's going to have some texture, and that is going to make you have that sticky layer together so that when you cut that, I want to make a lasagna now. And when you cut that lasagna, it doesn't just slide apart, right? I like to add in things into my lasagna like spinach and and all different other types of things, right? But I need a sauce that's going to hold those layers together, and sometimes the cheese isn't enough to do that, right? All right, so bechamel, Espanol, we just talked about tomato sauce. The next sauce that someone had brought up is a hollandaise sauce, right? So what is a hollandaise sauce? And I'm going to show you this in real time. Give me 1 second. Oh, shit. All right. Pulled out the heavy artillery, y'all. 1 second. So, what is a hollandaise sauce? A hollandaise sauce is something that is traditionally made utilizing what we call a bain-marie, right? So what is a bain-marie? A bain-marie is when you have a pot with water in it, and you take your bowl, and the pot's too big. You know what I'm trying to do. And you have your pot, and you put your bowl on top of it, and you let the steam only heat the bowl, right? Just because I'm not going to be beaten by a pot. Right? There you go. Okay? So you have the water in the bottom of the pot, and then you take your bowl and you put it on top of your bowl. You take the bowl and put it on top of the pot. Now, once the water comes to a boil and the steam you see on the bottom of the pot, you turn off the water. You take your egg yolks and you drop them in. Now, what you want to do is you want to whisk your egg yolks. Whisk, 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 whisk. The steam from the water is going to start to cook your egg yolks, and they are going to get fluffy and foamy. Right? Anybody know what that's called? I'm just going to stand here and stare at you until you tell me. This is what my students used to do too. They'd be like, Chef, why do you think we're in culinary school? We don't know the answers to these questions. Well, y'all should have read ahead, damn it. Anyway, I'm not even going to tell you now. You've angered me. No one bought me an apple? What? I'm angry. Anyway, so you're going to whip these egg yolks, whip these egg yolks until they get foamy and fluffy, right? When they get foamy and fluffy, and this could be a situation where, ooh, good catch, where you take it on and off the heat while you're doing it, okay? Yes? What?
Nothing.
Where you take it on and off the heat when you're doing this, right? Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to melt some butter, right? And I'm sure everyone's heard of the term clarified butter, right? It's when the milk fats are pulled out and you just have the liquid of the butter. And you're going to use what we call clarified butter, right? And that clarified butter is going to be slowly whisked into the egg yolks, right? As you whisk it into the egg yolks, it is going to emulsify. Now, here's the problem. If this gets too hot, it's going to break. If it gets too cold, it's going to break. So what you're going to have to do is while you're whisking this in, Take it on and off the heat. On and off the heat. And then once it's done, you're going to need to store it. You can't, when I say store, you're going to need to hold it somewhere that maintains the proper temperature the entire time, right? Or else it'll break. And then you have to reheat it or cool it down. Either way. And you cool it down by putting a teaspoon of water into it and whisk in. You heat it up by putting it back on the fire and heating it up. Now, why do I tell you all this? One, because this is how you make hollandaise sauce, right? This is the classic method for making hollandaise sauce. Here's what you need to know. As much as being a chef in a kitchen, we love to do the step-by-step classic methods. When you have to make 5 gallons of hollandaise sauce for brunch and everybody wants goddamn eggs Benedict, you're not doing this by hand. I'm going to show you how to do this within your blender. This is all you need, y'all. You need a blender, right? And I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to eat it, and I don't like to waste food. I'm going to tell you how to do this. I'll post a video explaining it. I'll actually cut this part of the live out. So, I'm going to tell you how to make hollandaise sauce inside of a blender. You're going to take your egg yolks, separate out your egg whites and your egg yolks. You're going to take your egg yolks and put them into the bottom of your blender. You are going to turn on your blender and whip your egg yolks until they become light and frothy. After they become light and frothy, you are going to slowly drizzle in your melted butter right into the blender. Slowly drizzle it in. Don't just dump it all in because it's not going to emulsify properly. You are literally going to slowly pour it in like this, right? Just a little bit at a time, okay? Now, clarified butter is also called what, y'all? Ghee, G-H-E-E, right? So that ghee is the other thing that you can use, which is just clarified butter. They call it ghee. So when you hear the terms, they are interchangeable. Ghee, clarified butter, all going to be the same thing. You can pour that into your blender. As you're pouring it into your blender, the blender will emulsify everything. You're going to add in your salt. You're going to add in your cayenne pepper. And at the very, very end, and the reason I say at the very, very end is you need to make sure that your eggs have been whipped. You need to make sure that your butter has been incorporated into your eggs. But the reason you need to add this in at the very end is because if you have a pregnant woman, right, or someone that's allergic to raw eggs, remember, we haven't cooked this, right? The only thing that's cooked, well, not even cooked, melted is the butter. So what you're going to do is you're going to take lemon juice, right? Lemon juice is much more neutral than lime juice. You're going to take your lemon juice and you're going to add in some lemon juice into your hollandaise sauce. That's going to do 2 things. 1, it's going to cook the egg yolks. And 2, it's going to it's going to lighten the hollandaise. So where before you have this dark, really yellowy hollandaise, your hollandaise is going to be lightened and brightened with the lemon juice, right? So that lemon juice is going to really brighten up that flavor. And what does lemon do to fat? The acid cuts the fat. Because remember, we're literally using butter and egg yolks. So when you first taste it, it's going to coat your tongue, right? So as you're making this, try it without any lemon juice first so you can go, damn, all I do is taste fat, right? And fat is flavor, which is always good. But then when you add that pop of lemon juice, it brightens everything up, right? And that little bit of cayenne pepper, that little bit of salt balances everything out. And then you have hollandaise sauce. The last thing you need to do with your hollandaise sauce is just like we did with our bechamel. You need to stick your spoon in it, hold it up, and see whether or not you actually can do that napan or nappe on the back of your spoon, right? Because you are going to nappe this over whatever. A lot of people use hollandaise sauce with asparagus, right? You don't want to pour it on and it just runs all over the plate. You want it to stick to whatever you're having it stick to. Also, the other thing you want to do is if you are making eggs Benedict, which we know is a poached egg, which I showed you how to make in our egg class, a poached egg on top of a muffin or toast with Canadian bacon, and then you nappe your hollandaise sauce over the top of that. Sprinkle it with a little bit of parsley, and then you have eggs Benedict. Now, the thing you have to realize about that is that you can take your hollandaise sauce and jazz it up. Make whatever you want, right? The same way you have your derivatives of your other sauces, your bechamel, your espagnole, your tomato. You have something we used to do in the restaurant where we would make a barbecue hollandaise. So after we make our hollandaise sauce, we add some of our house barbecue sauce to it, and then we would have a brisket eggs Benedict, right? This is the shit we do in Texas, right? Brisket eggs Benedict. So you have a brisket eggs Benedict, and you would put that over instead of using the Canadian bacon, you would use a slice of brisket, and you would put that on top of there with some finely chopped red onions and pickles, and then just put that on top as a garnish. Good. Clearly, I need to eat dinner. Right? So you could do that. We also had a pulled chicken hollandaise, right? And with the pulled chicken one, we would actually, after we pulled the chicken, it would go on a biscuit. Oh no, it was a pulled pork. Pulled pork, it would go on a biscuit with the poached egg on top, and then the the biscuit, the pulled pork, the egg, and then we would take crunchy onion straws and put that on top, and then utilize a smoked hollandaise sauce. So we would smoke the hollandaise sauce after it was done, and you could do that by adding in some liquid smoke, right? We would just actually put the hollandaise sauce inside of a smoker and let it get that smoky flavor, and then pour that over the top of the pulled pork. Can I get some food, y'all? I mean, damn. Nobody, starving. What time is it? Oh, yeah, I'm almost done with y'all. No, I'm only kidding. So that is hollandaise, right? So you can make your hollandaise in a blender super quick. So when you're having that brunch at home and someone's like, oh, can you make me some eggs Benedict? Go back to the egg class, right? I'm going to post that, repost some of those videos from the egg class on how to poach an egg. Poach the eggs, get your English muffin, some Canadian bacon, make your hollandaise sauce, and just pour it right over the top. But you can do it now in a blender without having to use a bain-marie. Okay? So, bechamel, white roux, milk. A derivative is a Mornay sauce. Espagnole, we have our beef broth or our veal broth with a mirepoix and a dark roux, right? Tomato sauce. We have our different derivatives of a tomato sauce, a marinara, a pomodoro, a vodka. Oh, I almost forgot the most important one. So, a puttanesca sauce, right? Punta, right? All the people that know Spanish, we know what a punta is, right? So we have a puttanesca sauce, which was my last sauce, and that sauce utilizes anchovies. Get it? Anchovies, puttanesca sauce. Anyway, Google it, you'll see. So a puttanesca sauce gives a briny flavor, right, to that thing. Normally, puttanesca sauce is done with, if you're going to do mussels, if you're going to do like a baked oyster or a flame broiled oyster, you would put your puttanesca sauce over the top of it. If you're going to do a nice seafood pasta dish, puttanesca sauce would be great because that briny flavor, along with a little bit of lemon juice, absolutely delicious, right? So that is my tomato sauce. That's my last derivative. Well, there's more, but that is the derivative of a tomato sauce. And then we have our Beth, B-E-T-H, which is our hollandaise. And our hollandaise sauce is egg yolks along with butter, right? Clarified butter or ghee. And you would drizzle that in slowly until it comes together and emulsifies. Add in your lemon juice to brighten it and lighten it. Add in some salt. Add in some cayenne pepper. And if you notice, I didn't say add in pepper because if you put pepper in there, the pepper actually leaves specks in the hollandaise, which people say, what are these burnt things in my hollandaise sauce? Could I have some hollandaise sauce that doesn't have these black specks in it? I'm like, whatever. And I don't use white pepper because it tastes like cat piss.
How do you know what cat piss tastes like? Oh,
All right, y'all. Let me explain myself. I don't necessarily know what cat piss tastes like.
oh my God.
However, I know you have a friend that has a cat, right? Because I have a friend that has a cat.
Oh, Lord.
If you walk past that cat box right after the cat has taken a piss, you smell it. It's very pungent. It's like ill. So I equate so I'm sorry for all you cat lovers out there, but
Somebody said now they throwing they white pepper in the trash.
right? Smell it. Listen, I'm telling you, smell your white pepper and then go to somebody's house that has a cat. Don't eat nothing there because that cat is all up on the countertop digging in hands in the food and on the stove and shit. I went out with this girl. This was a long time ago. I went out with this, so hopefully she's not following me now because that didn't turn out well. She had a cat, right? And every time I would go to her house, she would say, hey, you want me to cook something? I'd be like, no, let's go out. I'd be like, no, let me take you out to eat. You know, I was balling back then, so, you know.
But somebody say definitely going to throw the white pepper in the trash. Don't want to think about cats.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. It's horrible. So every time she would say, let me cook dinner, I'd be like, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. However, no. And the reason I said that is because one time we were sitting at the table eating takeout,
Somebody say, walk into my kitchen right now. I really gotta smell it, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Smell it, and it's like ill. But it doesn't give any color to what you're doing. So it has, and the other thing, you know, I'm making light of it, but Chinese food, they don't use black pepper. They use a lot of white pepper in their items. And if you know me, you know I can eat Chinese food every day. And most Chinese foods utilize white pepper. When you look at the recipes, they're not using the traditional black pepper. They're using white pepper in the dishes. So it's not bad. I just don't. Anyway, so as we're eating our dinner, let me finish my cat piss story. So that as we're eating our dinner, I'm sitting there eating, and I get up to go get something out of the refrigerator. When I come back, where's the cat at? Laying on the motherfucking table with us while we're eating. I was like, oh no. I said, you know what? This isn't gonna work at all. I can't. It's too much. It's too much. And I don't have a thing against, well, I do. It's my grandmother's fault. My grandmother always told me, and you'll see in my old wives' tale video, my grandmother always told me to never have a cat in the house with you because you notice how cats lay on your chest? They wait for you to go to sleep and they steal your soul. I was like, well, how do you know this? My grandmother lived to be 100+ years old. Anything she said, I believe. So never wanted a cat, love dogs, but no cats for me. So, with that said...
Somebody said that's why you gotta get rid of grandma.
Nice. Well, she's no longer with us. Rest in peace, my beautiful grandmother. However, the cat still, I'm afraid. I'll be sleeping. I'll see the cat on the bed. And one time I was sleeping over a house. Okay, more than once. But I was sleeping over a house, and all of a sudden, the cat jumped up on the bed and tried to climb on my chest. I was like, oh no. Doctor somebody. Oh, there. I don't know who that is. One of the doctors from the hospital. However, I'm not answering because I'm not at work.
Oh, she say, okay, definitely smell horse shit. All jokes aside, more than cat piss.
Yeah, right. See? I'm telling you, that white pepper is fucking...
Oh my God.
That white pepper is horrible. There's no white pepper in my cabinets because that stuff is nasty. Anyway, so the cat tried to jump on the bed, and for some reason I wasn't really asleep, and I guess the cat thought I was asleep. So when the cat went to jump on the bed, I kicked it. Bow! And the cat went flying across the room. She was like, oh, Fluffy, are you okay? I was like, no, that motherfucker ain't okay. He tried to climb up on me and steal my soul. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta get up early in the morning. So anyway, no cats, no white pepper because it smells like cat piss. Anyway.
She said she can't stop sneezing because of you.
So, see, you shouldn't have stuck your whole nose up in it. So, bechamel, espanol, tomato, hollandaise, and this brings us to our last sauce. Anybody know what our last sauce is? It begins with a V. It is called a velouté. Yes, a velouté. I don't know what's in a velouté. I've never made it. Watch this. Alexa, how do you make a velouté?
From squarespace.com. I still wanted that pop of blue as part of my spring wardrobe.
You see what I'm saying? She is the dumbest crack whore ever. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
She's the worst.
That's your accent, honey.
Isn't my... So you ask her.
What is it called?
A velouté.
Alexa, how do you make a velouté sauce?
For velouté sauce, I recommend velouté sauce from Food Network. 20 minutes to make. What would you like? Start recipe, save recipe,
Start
send to
recipe.
phone, add to list, or hear next recipe?
Start recipe.
Velouté sauce from Food Network. There are 5 ingredients. Would you like to gather ingredients or hear the instructions?
Gather ingredients.
At any time, ask me to repeat or start instructions. You'll need 3 tablespoons butter and 3 tablespoons flour. When you've got those, just say continue.
Continue.
2 cups chicken stock and salt.
Okay. Did you hear that? I don't know whether you heard that. A velouté. Oh, turn that down a little. A velouté is like a bechamel, right? It uses the same thing, right? Now the differences between my velouté and my bechamel is that with our velouté, it's a lighter sauce, right? It's a lighter sauce. So with this sauce, where you would put in like a chicken stock or cream or milk, with this, you're going to use a broth, right? Now, normally what happens is you're going to use a velouté for things like a sauce supreme, right? And a sauce supreme is typically used with fish. And what happens is you utilize fish stock, right? Your white roux, and that's it, right? There's nothing else. There's no cream or anything. So right there, it's going to be a lighter sauce. And that lighter sauce is going to be for those lighter dishes, right? So for your fish, you're definitely going to use this. For some chicken dishes, it uses a velouté, right? Those are things that will allow you to get a lighter sauce that's not as heavy. It doesn't taste as heavy because you're not using milk or cream. You are utilizing a stock, okay? So that stock addition changes the entire texture and consistency of it, where now it is not as thick as our cheese sauce or our hollandaise sauce. It's a lighter sauce. Again, what is the way we check our sauces to see whether or not they're done? We utilize our nappe method, right? To see whether or not our sauces are done. And then it is nappe, right? Dip a spoon in it, wipe the back. If the line comes down the back, that is nappe. So that is what you have a velouté for. It is definitely a lighter sauce. It is not as heavy as the other sauces that we talked about.
I feel like you telling me a bedtime story.
And then the princess went into the forest, gathered up some lamb, and made some espagnole. Everybody says I should do story time. I got a million of them. So
somebody said she calling you boring.
Oh, I know, right? You're putting me to sleep. I get it. So yeah, you gotta take that motherfucking sauce and you gotta mix it up. And I'm just telling you, I can't. When you're teaching in front of people, you can't be over the top, because then they're like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And if you're too slow and low, it's like, oh my God, I'm falling asleep. So I have to project my voice and speak clearly, so you can be my choice in stage, on record.
Somebody say, there we go.
Go to the whiz and select it. Take it off the rack. If it's whack, put it back. I like the Whopper. Fuck the Big Mac. Okay, never mind. All right. So yes. So velouté sauce, that light sauce that people like for things, lighter dishes. Okay. So bechamel. Bechamel, espagnole, tomato, hollandaise, velouté. Okay? That is Beth V. And those are the sauces that we call the 5 mother sauces, right? We talked about mayonnaise, which is not a mother sauce, but a cold emulsification, right? That comes together utilizing mustard, egg yolks, and oil. You whisk them together until they come together. We talked about making salad dressings.
Somebody say Beth V for the win.
Yes, Beth V, baby, all day. That's how I would tell my students to remember it. I would write it on the board. Who is Beth V? And, some of them paid attention, and some of them were like, they would never ask me. And then I'm like, when we get to that sauce day, I'm like, okay, answer the question. And they're like, what question? Who is Beth V? Right? I try and give you guys tips and pointers on how to pass the Chef J test, but y'all don't take it. But yes, Beth V is the way to remember. Also, what we do know, we talked about nappe, where we run our finger down the back of a spoon that we've dipped into sauce, right? We talked about utilizing our derivatives of sauces, and you can make whatever you want. Like a mayonnaise with relish is a tartar sauce, but if you add in a pepper sauce to it, like some type of spicy hot sauce, then it becomes a remoulade, right? So these are all things that you can make your own derivatives of sauce with it. The other thing that we talked about is always gauge, right? Like it was said, don't do as I say as I do. Always measure. Whenever we deal with a roux is equal parts fat and flour, okay? Equal parts fat and flour. Now, what you will find is that fat can be anything, right? Oil, butter, duck fat, beef tallow, any type of fat that you have is a fat, right? Once that fat melts and starts to bubble, we add in our flour, whisk that in, let the flour flavor go away, and then once that flour flavor goes away, then we actually have our base to add in either our liquid, and that liquid can be chicken stock, beef stock. I think when I made the cheese sauce, I utilized chicken stock for my macaroni and cheese. Cause, huh?
You did milk?
No, when I made the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I made a video on making mac and cheese and utilize chicken stock instead of milk. You can use oat milk, almond milk, right? It doesn't really matter what kind of milk. Goat milk,
Oh, shit.
lamb milk, milk from your, sorry. Anyway, y'all are so nasty. I was going to say milk from your sheep that you have outside. But because y'all are nasty, let's keep it G-rated, y'all. Right? So those are the things you can use in your roux, right? You want to whisk your roux, and then depending upon the depth of color you want for your roux, a blonde roux, a brown roux, a peanut butter roux, and then a dark brown roux. Okay, those are the different phases of a roux, and I will post a video on making a roux as well, so you can kind of see that. I love these classes because they can always spin into other things, but we don't have 12 hours, so I'm not going to keep you long. Another 10 minutes. Is anybody interested in getting on a panel and asking some questions? If not, I will not open a panel. But if there are people that want to ask questions, I will open a panel so that you can hop on and ask some questions if you have them. If not, I will just keep talking like I'm a robot.
Start doing it from 5 to 6:30. It's way too long.
Can I finish this? You telling me that now? Really? Anyway, so I need a new stage manager. Please submit your resumes to Jay at Culinary Icon. Every Wednesday, we are live, y'all. So come on back. I will see you next Wednesday from 5 to apparently 6:30 now. because I need to eat dinner. I'll go from. I'll figure it out. You know, this is a dynamic thing. It changes all the time. I do appreciate you stopping in for sauces.
Somebody said the application already in.
Oh, okay, good. I got you. You hired. Because my stage manager now is horrible. What happens when you marry people? Anyway, so yes. So I appreciate you stopping in. Again, thank you out there in YouTube. I got YouTube on there. I got TikTok on there. I haven't done Facebook Live yet. I don't think I will. I haven't been on Facebook in like 20 years. My mother's always like, "Come, why aren't you on Facebook?" And I'm like, because I don't want to be. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much. I will see you next Wednesday. I will be posting the things that we talked about. Make sure you send me a message. Well, let me go through the normal things. Make sure you like the live. I appreciate that. It got a ton of likes. Make sure you follow me. Follow me for content information. Make sure you send me a message if there's something you want me to talk about. This is what I do, y'all. This is my job, right? So if you have questions, I love questions and posting videos on the questions that I get. And last but not least, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Let them know, have them come down. I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much again for your support. I absolutely appreciate it. You are so appreciated. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night. This has been Culinary Icon Cooking Class. Sauces, baby. That was saucy. Get saucy with it. I'm going to start dancing during the class. No, I'm not. Good night, y'all. Oh my God.
You haven't ended it yet.
No, it's over.
Okay, it just ended. You had 981 views.
Yes.
Yes, that's great.
This one says 1,000 plus.
Okay. That was great, honey. I need to call cousin Lisa. She sent me a text talking about she got COVID. I'm gonna start wearing my mask to work.
Oh, shit. I'm live on YouTube.